All right, y'all, we're gonna check out this boudoir photographer. Gonna see if their local search and their city search, if they got BSS for either of those searches. We only got one search for them today. So we're back here in the GBC universe where we're taking declining boudoir photographers to the #1 boudoir photographer in their city. As always, our North Star is FSIC, full spectrum intent capture. More about that, pinned video, pinned post, somewhere around here. And that's because FSIC explains why all boudoir photographers either rise or fall. So we got our white FSIC graph here down below. On the left side, we get the highest intent peeps, people searching, for boudoir photography, shoot in their city right now. They're searching on Google, they're searching on social media. We care about getting in front of these peeps, so we're talking about BSS here in all these videos. And over on the right, we got the lowest intent peeps. Talk about those, our sister channel, Boudoir FB Ad Doctor. We're talking about BLCS, and we're currently over there only working with boudoir photographers running more than 10 grand per month in boudoir Facebook ads. Now, BSS, boudoir search sameness, that's when a boudoir photographer has either 0 or 1 slots page 1 on Google. 0 slots is terrible. That means we're on page 2 or deeper, and we already have the data. We already know. Approximately 80% of Google searches never, ever even hit page 2. They're page 1 and done searches. So if we're got 0 slots, page 1, we're visible to approximately 80% of the market, aka the bulk of the market. If we go 1 slot on page 1, that's not good either. Everyone else on page 1 will get at least 1 slot as well. So we're blending in, we're invisible. And guess what? Guess what a boudoir buyer is going to do? They're going to be clicking, everyone's link going down. Well, at least approximately 80% of the buyers will be doing that, clicking everyone's link going down, stay on page 1 only. So we're only going to be compared to the peeps on page 1. They're going to be filling out everyone's contact form, getting pricing, comparing pricing, blah, 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 blah. Destroying our margins, negotiating, wasting our time. We're probably only going to get like 10% of contact form fill outs to, convert with us. And 0-1 slots on page 1 Google is actually not normal. It's a symptom of 2 deeper root causes. So it's common, it's accepted, but to have such a few number of page 1 links, it's not normal. Those 2 deeper root causes are 1, market saturation, and 2, the false belief of page 1 equality. Market saturation, basically everyone knows about this. People get new gear, new iPhone, new camera, and then they're posting on, posting up their Google My Business profile, saying they now shoot boudoir. They got their website saying they're now boudoir photographer. They're posting them on groups, saying they now shoot boudoir photo shoots. And so it's, more boudoir photographers, more sellers for the same number of buyers, which means prices come down across the board, makes it harder for every other boudoir photographer to operate. Now, second, the false belief of page 1 equality. This is a new one. Most boudoir photographers don't even know about this one, but this is kind of the automatic acceptance or belief that, a boudoir photographer with their website, gets at least 0 or, gets 0 or 1 slots page 1 on Google. And that's kind of basically auto accepted, the same for everyone. And so if someone was, page 1 slot 10, then some market saturation happened and they went down to, page 2 slot 2. And it's like, oh, well, that's the game, that's how it is. And they're thinking, okay, hopefully Google, hopefully those people delete their websites and Google de-indexes them. So maybe Google will bring us back up onto page 1. But this is 100% the wrong mindset, the incorrect mindset, because what we have learned through testing is that Google actually gives us as many page 1 slots as possible as we want to put in the effort to acquire. And I know this because I went from 0 out of 10 slots page 1 Google search to 9 out of 10 slots page 1 Google search in only 10 days using this new methodology we discovered. Now, yeah, so that's false belief, page 1 equality. This is actually the #1 killer of boudoir photography businesses, because it kind of resigns the boudoir photographer to take no action, because people didn't know they can take as many page 1 slots in Google as they wanted. We also know that boudoir photographer with BSS, boudoir search sameness, is a disappearing boudoir photographer, a DBP. So remember, BSS, boudoir search sameness, having 0 1 slots page 1 on Google. So if a boudoir photographer has BSS, they got 0 1 slots page 1 on Google, that means they're disappearing fast if they're page 2 or deeper, or they're disappearing slowly if they do got 1 slot on page 1, because they're still essentially invisible, not standing out at all. And if they're disappearing boudoir photographer, that's the the warning light, the red flag, the flashing warning, the canary in the coal mine telling them, hey, your boudoir photography business itself is on the path to disappearing here. But thankfully, we now have a solution because we have discovered that BSS is treated with social search saturation, aka S cubed methodology. And we know this because we discovered this. This is exactly what I used to go from 0 out of 10 slots, page 1 on Google, to 9 out of 10 slots, page 1 on Google in only 10 days. And it works exactly as the name says, social search saturation. We saturate social search with the highest intent boudoir buyer keywords, so we show up there when peeps search those on social media. And it serves two functions. Second function is kind of, it's acting like snow up at the top of the Andes Mountains down there in South America on the eastern side, the backside of those mountains. When that snow melts, which is melting all the time, the water drains into, melts into small streams, small rivers, and eventually it all collects into the large Amazon River. The large Amazon River is Google page one search, but it all flows, it all starts with the inputs of SQ methodology, saturating social search to enable us to saturate Google page one search. An interesting thing about SQ methodology, it's the only solution I've seen for boudoir photographers that can enable a boudoir photography business to actually still grow in the face of growing and increasing market saturation over time, and give them this opportunity in a relatively quick time frame. The only other option for this would be kind of get this benefit would be to have a large, well-known brand to fight back against market saturation, but that doesn't satisfy the relatively quickly criteria because having a well-known brand, dude, that takes like 5 to 10 years. We ain't got 5 to 10 years, dude. AI's here taking people's jobs. We don't have the time anymore. We need, a chance at much faster results. And actually, with my estimates, SQ methodology can speed up actually creating a large, well-known brand by approximately 8x faster than all the normal methods because we're actually going to be seeing way more higher volume across many more surfaces and in many more searches. So that's where the approximately 8x faster estimate comes from. All right, so now an example of SQ methodology. Right now, I'm deciding that we're going to Dallas, Texas, and there are 1 million boudoir photographers there. And we are one of them. Everyone has a boudoir photography website. And as a result, everyone's trying to super competitive, rank page one on Google, ultra competitive. We're realizing like, man, we ain't got no large, well-known brand. So, our only solution to compete here is to, crank up S cubed methodology to the max. And so we do that, and we literally get shown in the first 300 slots social search for highest intent boudoir buyer keywords in our city. Those flow onto Google. Let's say we also get, first 300 slots page one, or first 300 slots Google search, and it's 10 organic slots per page Google search. So we're taking out basically the first 30 pages. And so basically anywhere boudoir buyer looks, they got to scroll like, basically 301 slots to find basically find over our competitors, and that'd be, page 31 on Google. And as a result, since we're basically the only one they can find, then whose business is growing in this scenario? Most likely ours. Whose businesses are, slowing down, disappearing, going extinct? Most likely our 999,999 boudoir photographer competitor businesses. And so this is kind of a, extreme example of what SQ methodology could enable at like the most extreme end for a boudoir photography business. Now, once you're with SQ methodology, we have page one visibility. Initial benefit, we get more slots page one Google search, and every time we get a new page one Google search, we get the second benefit is we're kicking competing boudoir photographers off page one, effectively making them invisible. So actually through our effort, we can decide how many of our competitors in our area, in our city, are relegated to page two or deeper. And since we know approximately 80% of Google searches never even hit page two, effectively make them invisible to the approximately 80% of the marketplace, so the bulk of the marketplace, and put their business on the path to disappearing. Now, page one visibility activates boudoir search visibility for us. This is where the GBC universe actually recommends having a minimum of 3 out of 10 slots page one Google search. That's a minimum, not a maximum. That's because basically everyone else on page one Google search will have 1 slot. So if we got 3, we're dominating them right away. And the ultra rare case, someone has 2 slots, well, our 3 slots is dominating them as well. So we want to hit 3 out of 10 minimum for all the highest intent boudoir buyer keywords. We also know that boudoir photographer with boudoir search visibility is a visible boudoir photographer, a VBP. So we got our micro universe here. A disappearing boudoir photographer with boudoir search sameness has 0 1 slots page one Google search. This is caused by the dual horns of market saturation and the false belief of page one equality. That's fine. We now have the solution S cubed methodology. We achieve page one visibility. We become a visible boudoir photographer with boudoir search visibility. All right, y'all. Now my results utilizing this technology. So I want to dominate page one Google search for this keyword, BLCS boudoir. And so I went to work purely using S-cube methodology and let's see my results. Got organic slot 1, Instagram, me. Slot 2, me. Slot 3, me. Slot 4, me. Slot 5, me. Slot 6, me. Slot 7, me. Slot 8, me. Slot 10, me. So in 10 days, I went from 0 out of 10 slots page one Google search to 9 out of 10 slots page one Google search, purely utilizing S-cubed methodology. All right, main event here. You can see if this boudoir photography business has BSS for their local and city search, but it looks like they got 1 search here. So we're combining the local and city. We're also going to see if they hit the GBC recommended minimum of 3 out of 10 slots on page one of Google search. All right, so DeLand, Florida. All right, so, all right, we're here. All right, we got 1 slot. And yeah, 1 slot. 2 slots, okay. Now boudoir's in kind of the body text, smaller. But all right, we'll give you 2 slots here. All right, so we got 2 out of 10 slots, so good. So we do not have BSS, boudoir search sameness. We got 2 out of 10 slots, but we did not hit the recommended GBC recommended minimum 3 out of 10 slots in our search. So if you are a disappearing boudoir photographer, you went and did the local search for yourself and the city, or local search for the highest intent buyer keywords and the city search for the highest intent buyer keywords, and you had BSS for one or both, or you did not meet the GBC recommended minimum of 3 out of 10 slots on page one for either one or both of those searches. And you now realize page one equality was kind of automatically accepted before, but now you realize it's a false belief. Now you realize, wow, we truly can take as many page one slots on Google as we want to put in the effort to acquire. And you understand market saturation with how, basically people get new iPhones, throw up their Google My Business profile and their website, and they shoot boudoir. So get new gear, increase the number of boudoir photographers over time. It's always increasing, and you're actually thinking ahead. You're seeing AI. You accept it's okay. It's probably going to start steal more people's jobs. So what we're actually going to need to do is it's going to force a bunch of boudoir photographers to come into the marketplace that were not boudoir photographers before, but they have, everyone's got a camera on their phone. And so you want to fortify your position ahead of AI taking everyone's jobs, and I don't know, could that double the amount of boudoir photographers in the market? No idea. But you want to fortify your position before then. You kind of want to get more slots on page one before that happens to kick out current competitors, and get even more slots on page one to fortify your position against the coming influx of new boudoir photographers that will inevitably be coming into the marketplace. So more sellers for the same number of buyers as AI takes more and more people's jobs. And so you want to fortify you want to kick out the current competitors, fortify your position against future competitors. And you also want the, your CNS cubed methodology is the only solution that you can see that allows you to do that as a boudoir photographer. And you actually want kind of the extra backend benefits from this as well, which is every day we execute methodology successfully. We're actually building like these thematic keyword columns that are plugged, kind of like spokes, that are plugged into our main brand across our social channels, across the internet, our website, our brand name, our social handle name. And as we do more and more of that every day, it actually increases the probability we get recommended an AI overview, this premium spot placement up at the top above everything. And many times, it's literally recommending one studio at a time, based off of thematic keyword relevance, authority, things like that, and frequency. And also every day we execute methodology correctly. So it's building up that momentum in the background for AI overview and also standard AI search and all the different AI search platforms. ChatGPT, Claude, Perplexity, Microsoft Copilot, Google Gemini. Every day we successfully execute methodology, build up those thematic keyword columns attached to our brand, kind of like spokes on a wheel. We're increasing the probability AI recommends us in search into the future. Kind of increasing that probability every single day we successfully execute. And you also see that kind of the earlier you jump on this, the more distance you put, kind of the more momentum is built, kind of more fortification, kind of fortifying the levees like New Orleans against the ocean because it's below sea level, and building momentum for back-end AI search, AI overview recommendations forever into the future. Well, for every day that S-cubed methodology is successfully executed against all current and future competitors who are not running S-cubed methodology. Because my current plan is to only run it with one boudoir photographer per city. And so if I were to work with a competitor and that happened, instead you would have to rederive and refigure out and retest S-cubed methodology to figure it out for yourself. And you would never really know if you actually derived it correctly. But even so, you'd have to then go execute it on your own, which you would have less confidence in, because again, you would not have known if you've actually derived it correctly. And you'd have to equal our output of me working with your competitor to maintain our gap where we're already ahead. You'd have to actually double or triple our output to actually close the gap and overtake us, kind of suck away that thematic keyword kind of momentum, back into momentum for AI search engines to steal it away from us. So you realize, screw that. It's better to simply be, the first mover on this, kind of kick out current competitors from page one, actually increase, 4 to 5 year position against future competitors as AI takes people's jobs, force them to become boudoir photographers. And so you're saying SQ methodology is the best path for you because you want, page one visibility, become a visible boudoir photographer, achieve boudoir search visibility, because you need that on your way to become #1 boudoir photographer in your city. So if that's you, shoot me a DM when I open up for new patient intake. My DMs are closed right now, slots are currently closed. And when you do open up, or when I do open it up, shoot me a DM and we will see if you qualify for using S-cubed methodology.